Conservative activist James Okeefe logged into a private CNN teleconference. Okeefe's group, Project Veritas, live streamed the call. It included him interrupting CNN's president, Jeff Zucker, to question him about the network's journalistic integrity. CNN says it believes this may have been a felony. A statement says it's reported the incident to law enforcement. Project Veritas says it's trying to expose the mainstream media's liberal biases. It continued to release clips from CNN's editorial calls with some help from Fox News host Sean Hannity. Media outlets have enough to deal with after what have been a divisive 4 years. Attacks on the press are nothing new, but they've amped up with claims of fake news, and many reports show hardening attitudes towards journalists. The First Amendment lets the press publish what it wants, biased or not. Snooping on CNN's editorial process impedes that right. Journalism always has room to improve. And there's already a good way to fight bias on TV. Change the channel.
The Hunter Biden story was an explosive blow against Joe Biden leading up to the presidential election. But listen on this 9 a.m. editorial conference call at CNN how President Jeff Zucker chooses to not cover this important story.
I think on the Breitbart, New York Post, Fox News rabbit hole of Hunter Biden, which I don't think anybody outside of that world understood last night, the Wall Street Journal reported that their review of all corporate records showed no role for Joe Biden on the Chinese deal. And yes, I do put more credibility in the Wall Street Journal than I do in the New York Post.
Obviously, we're not going with the New York Post story right now on Hunter Biden, and which seems to be giving its marching orders to Fox News and the right-wing echo chamber about what to talk about today. Obviously, Hunter Biden's lawyer is quoted in that New York Post piece, and we'll just continue to report out. This is the very stuff that the president was impeached over. This is the stuff that Senate committees looked at and found nothing wrong in Joe Biden's interactions with Ukrainians, and now having an email that perhaps there was a meeting with someone from Burisma it seems Rudy Giuliani's sort of dream-a-vision of how to throw stuff at the wall in these closing days of the campaign.
Hey, Jeff, it's just David on the Burisma story, and we should be awfully careful about that, obviously. But I do think there's a media story of what in the world are Maggie Haberman and Jake Sherman doing, retweeting that story.
CNN doesn't think pedophilia allegations against the powerful elite are worth covering, and they explain this on their 9 a.m. Jeff Zucker call. Check this out.
The President of the United States has just retweeted a post accusing Joe Biden of being a pedophile to his 86 million followers, which is just beyond. You know, it also is just unacceptable that the President of the United States is trafficking in this and doing it.
The President of the United States is doing this. We talked about it yesterday with the pedophile thing. When the President puts this out on his Twitter feed to 70 million plus people, you know, it's viewed by millions of people, many of whom believe that it's real. It's insane that the President of the United States is doing this. And 2 days in a row now, one, Joe Biden's a pedophile, and two, Joe Biden is dancing and laughing to, F the police. And it's just, I mean, again, we have an issue because the more we show it or talk about it, we're actually giving it some air.
Each of these so-called scandals for Trump, each of these things, we should just once again be careful to say that this is the one that is going to undo him with his voters. We always think that, but we need to make sure we have a sense of what's going on out in the country and not just listen to Twitter. With regard to the filth that they're spreading with regard to child pornography and all of that, I do not believe that we should be covering those allegations, even if they're out there on Newsmax.